Heat number 3 getting started here. Reigning world champ, current world number 2, Caity Simmers headlines this one. Bettylou Sakura Johnson, representing the North Shore of Oahu, is fired up and ready to compete. And great to see Macy Callaghan in the mix. Macy winning her junior title in Kiama in Australia back in 2016. Macy setting up the right to start. She's got a famous frontside swooping cutback that's gained her a lot of points in her career. Pulls in, loving the tube ride from Macy, very deep, and it's keeping her in there. She's trying to get out so she can get back to turns, but the whitewater's still pushing at her feet. She's gonna really be bummed to miss that performance section. It might go into the inside tube already. So forced to pull in again, getting a lot out of the barrel, but not too many maneuvers.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for her because that was the deepest barrel we've seen so far, but it does that chandelier on the end on the left, because as much as there's not much of a wind today, still that there's a little offshore to the left and onshore and to the right, and she missed that whole stretch of turns that usually is the ones that the people at the surfers start to unload a little bit more. It gives more opportunity, more open face. But beautiful tube riding from her in technique. You can tell that she's from right-hand point breaks that drains with very flat bottoms, you know.
It's a common move, you know, to head up to the Gold Coast representing North Shelley, but yeah, all the time out at Snapper these days and all those rights in the Goldie. But gosh, what a drainer. Even though she missed out on turns, the judges should like how long she spent all that time under the hood there.
And then once again here, you're going to see her shift her foot forward. She did it right there. Gets a beautiful position. Use that front arm to drag herself. Look how forward both of her foot are. That just gives her stability, gives her the drive that she needs.
She'll be defending champ in El Salvador, which is top 4. That she could go on a dream run right now and really go for the yellow jersey, as we have Bettylou Sakura Johnson just getting the flow state underway on the backhand. First wave of the morning. Here in qualifying round, Heat 3, Bettylou steps off. So a short left, she'll have one more chance to improve on that. Got to feature in the final 5 as a rookie. Won 2 events that first year, 3 events last year. And now rolling into the right to kick things off. Just a fade on that opening canvas. You can see it was slopey there to start. Now it's really starting to bowl. She does want to get tubed. Caity Simmers traveling, holding her line well on that Chris Borst design. Now sets that rail, a cool down carve, setting up a nice sweep off the top. Laying into the lip, and she will grab a rail as the transition bottomed out. Couldn't pick her board back up.
It felt like everyone, it's kind of on the same game plan right now, you know, like everyone's a little bit ahead of themselves. Like it didn't work as probably as they were planning. She, after that barrel, like everything was pretty smooth and clear, but she started going a little bit forward too much. Maybe she should have hold herself back a little bit more critical, and just when that wave bottomed out, just kind of too much weight on the front foot. You're gonna see here a beautiful entry for the barrel, sets it up, moves that foot forward, keeps it stable, stay there for a long time. Didn't get too deep, but this is, I think, when it started to go a little bit lateral, you know? Takes that high line, but goes too in front of the wave and kind of stays there. And then as soon as the wave bottoms out, you see there's no criticalness on the sections that she's hitting it. And then when she did, it kind of caught her off guard, like bottomed out under her. Beautiful angle right there to see it. She's going to try and press that back foot as you see it, but it's too late already, and then she just starts dragging and keep the momentum forward. The nose of the board gets on the water and she falls forward. But for her opponents, this is, you know, this is great because everyone started with nothing really, and they're going to have to.
She turns around, sees it coming. Stay really close to that fencing there. A slight angle to fade into it, and she's getting underway. Always known for her smooth transitions with rail work. Always can get a big score on the open face. Now she's really getting speed off that hollow part of the wave. not trying to pull in there. So see if she can use all that momentum, put into the lip. Well done there with an airdrop. Very critical entry into the pit. But she will go over the falls.
So that was just a great example of having a line and kind of the line not going as well as you're hoping for, because that barrel part, the barrel part of the wave, she was going forward and actually like moving through it, and then she went for a turn but a little bit too early, and the barrel was still actually there, so she airdrops and she has to adapt to the situation and try and pull in because there's nothing else she could have done. But then the barrel is almost finishing already, and you can see it getting smaller already in size, and she can't fit that her body into the position right there that she needed to. So sometimes you just got to throw that line out the way. And
right now with her wave, Paul.
Thanks, Kopo. Blades are sharp, and the wave is ready. The open canvas for Sakura. The draw line's on. Cracking into the lip. And then looking for cover here. Stalling on the tail. Nice light touch on the water for her. She'll look for some vision from within. Doesn't get way back inside that opening section. Hooks one off the top, real cool. Like the mix up between the maneuvers. So 3 distinct turns through the performance section of the wave, and then some more cover. Gets behind the curtain. Sakura out onto the face. A hammer once again. Nice combo to finish. Really cool. She'll get another hit on the end. Great flow throughout. Flick flow through that, and variety as well. That's a pretty potent combination.
Yeah, I really like that from Bettylou. Great opening wave, and I think it always feels good when you get the completion on that initial wave. I mean, it's been a while since Bettylou's actually stood up here on a wave. She had to watch all day yesterday while the men went at it. So it's been, you know, a fair few hours. So to get that completion, I think it just does so much for your mindset this morning in that opening round. And I mean, there was some good work. There was some damage done. Let's have a look. Nice opening carve here. So this is the opening section of the wave. A little bit of a slopier face. Stomps on the brakes here. You can see she's using both arms, doing the double drag, really trying to maximize the tube time. And then just flowing with the energy of this wave. And this, for me, is where the damage is done. This series of maneuvers really executes these really well. Incredibly well timed. And then another little bit of tube time here on the inside. So in the context of this heat and the scores that have been thrown down, got to be thinking that this is probably going to be one of the higher ones. As we look at this beautiful rail work here from Bettylou, drift of the fins there, and then another little jab in the pocket.
And ultimately, that's not really where you want to be in terms of having an easier route to the final. Or you'll flip that and say, you know what, you might gain a bit of extra momentum with a couple more laps under the lights. Here's your World Champ Simmers on the left this time. Puts loads of board up through the lip and then cruising through, sticking that left arm in the face, trying to slow herself down. It takes her a while to get to the deeper portion, but she will do that. And she's stuck with that, pretty staunch, committed to the Vij. And then on that toe edge, throwing up loads of spray. She'll belt that again, then more speed and some tunnel time here for Simmers again, locked in. She'll come out and then make room to swoop on a finishing section. She'll get a little run up on the ends and a little ollie to finish into the channel for Simmers. Nice surfing.
Yeah, definitely some of the deepest backhand tube riding we've seen from the women so far this morning. That second tube ride for Caity, super critical, so deep. And that second tube, it really runs off without you. So if you don't time that right, I mean, she was really deep, really has a lot of push. It's a really slabby section. And a lot of good work done out the back here too. Just a series of linking maneuvers here. Gets up into the lip. And I just love this setup. It's just so cruisy. It's so controlled. I mean, she does a lot of work here. I mean, there's a lot of work where she's just really dragging that whole side of her body into the face of the wave, trying to maximize this, and she does. She makes the most of it, gets a bit of tube time, but it's the second tube really that got me excited. And you can kind of hear the crowd in the background here. This one, I mean, she's super deep, fully covered for multiple seconds. So I think that's going to fare well. And we're one of the deepest tubes we've seen ridden on the backhand for the women this morning. So let's watch this turn here. Nice and critical. Bit of a drift there of the fins. Sort of almost grinding across that lip there. And then deep into the setup of this barrel on the inside section. Just really moving all that momentum forward on that board. And look at, I mean, she's fully covered, right? You can't see the nose of the board for multiple seconds here. Fully shaded. Honestly, I think it's just so different, right? You're not really competing against you are, but essentially it's yourself. You've got to
It must be hard to not want them to fall off. Come on, be honest. Here we go. Here is Macy opening up on this run and right. She knows all about waves of this shape. She'll go for the tube, getting real low. Super tuck behind the curtain. Nicely done. Super cruisy. The style really good. Making it look easy, effortless, full flow. There's a nice turn with a bit of back foot pressure and a clip onto the crumble. Callaghan again up into the lip and down and in and driving and flowing and exiting. Callaghan with a finishing section. Really nice wrap. Holds the rail. A lot to admire in that surfing.
Yeah, that was really good. It seemed like she obviously acknowledged where the mistakes were before on the previous right. You know, she got super deep on that first barrel, but it kind of put her out of rhythm for the rest of the wave. And so she still maximised the tube time both times, outside barrel, inside barrel, but a series of nice rail work too. And I mean, when I think of Macy's strengths, she's obviously got that big open face carve on her forehand. So let's see this technique here. I mean, Macy's so good technically on her forehand here. Obviously, you know, now living on the Gold Coast, spending lots of time at Snapper. We saw her on the Challenger Series last year, get that 10-point ride from behind the rock at Snapper for doing barrel work similar to that. And then series moves, gets a little bit hung up here, but it kind of puts her in a good position, super deep, coming from behind. I feel like the judges are going to like this. I mean, I liked it. Had a good feeling to it.
Just to clarify, Felicity Parmentier, what you're expecting me and the entire surf world to believe is you're in a heat with someone, you're not hoping that they're falling off halfway through their run.
Well, look, I'd like to hope that, you know, there's good people in this world, Paul.
Okay.
Like myself.
Okay.
That maybe not like you, that maybe have some bad juju coming their way. Hey, we're backing up another 16-hour day here. Things might get rough in the booth. Yesterday, as we see Bettylou.
Here goes Bettylou on the backhand. This is her second left. What she can do here. Setting up nicely. We saw a really hollow one come through for Caity last time out. Waiting at the bottom of the wave, real patient. Almost gets the wobbles a bit as she gets really nice and deep. So again, committing to that line, and the patience and persistence paying off. Pretty staunch with that low line into that tube. Couple of cracks for Sakura. And then the acceleration gets some major wobble there. That one got real hollow real quick. Just unable to thread that second section. The tube very much in play right now on the left.
Again, just absolute shootout between those two women. Can't wait to see that rivalry unfold this year.
Simmers in the sunshine right now and on her second right-hander in this qualifying heat. Set up work. She whips one off the top and then compresses behind the curtain. So more tube time for her. It's a little bonus section. That was cool. And out she comes. And then making shapes really nice, using that full height and slope transition of the wave. Good work with the rail. Now more tube time for Caity Simmers. In and out. Just chopping her turn down. And once again, a little bonus cover for the finish.
I really liked that. Favourite wave of the heat so far.
What'd you like about it, Flick?
Well, you know what? I think for me, it was just her read on it, the pace. The pace was perfect. She didn't look too rushed. For me, rhythm's a big thing when I look at this wave, especially the takeaways from yesterday watching the men. And to me, it didn't look like Caity was fighting to stay, you know, keep up with the pace with this wave. She wasn't rushed, locked in a bit of tube time here, but this performance section 2 gets nice and steep. I love that she's able to go to that open face carve. mixes it up with a snap, another carve, and then just lines up this inside. So obviously her highest score on the left, that 6.4, and she's looking to replace the 3.6, and you know what? I reckon she's done it. As we see this super slow-mo of just this beautiful technique. That first section there, gets a little release of the fins, and then hits this tiny bit of coping. But just perfect technique where you can see there, shuffled those feet really far forward for that inside slabby barrel section. Really well put together wave for Caity, and I'm sure that she's going to improve on this situation.
How do I surf?
Wave pool action, hang out with me mates. Not a bad day in the office.
Here goes Macy Callaghan. Getting involved on the left, setting up. This will conclude her second run. This left-hander pumping for the speed. Let's see how the hollow sections pan out for Macy here. She'll just keep driving down the line. Gives that a good hit in the pocket, whacking it again. So placing those turns in the critical section.
Oh,
that one will just run away. It just doesn't quite get the line she was after to try and find the tube there. It's a decent start of the wave. Not quite connected through that back portion.
Yeah, you got to think, you know, if she's chasing this 6.56, I mean, she's not going to be getting on that wave, especially with not making that last barrel section. So Macy knows that. And it's going to be through to sudden death. Night session. Let's break it down here. So let's see what went wrong on this inside section. Just gets a little bit caught behind and then just lipped in the back, and she knows it. What an elegant dismount. You don't get points for that.
Everyone usually operates within different ways to respond to these challenges. Let's see how Sakura can do that on the forehand. So her second right, here she goes, clipping off the top first turn. Third maneuver, bit of spice to it, bit of venom. Now she'll want to get deep in here, as deep as possible is the order of the day for her. A quick visit inside the tube and then back up and wax it. Nice carving snap turn for her, so variety through the midsection of the wave. Nice drifty flow through that final maneuver, and once again it gets deep as pos there, doesn't completely disappear. There's the grab rail, tries to ditch and throw the fins. It will be incomplete. Don't think that'll be the exit number.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, she had that opportunity of this last wave, and she had to go as big as possible, right? I mean, we're chasing an excellent number. We haven't seen one of those drop all event so far. I mean, she's going to know it too. She's going to probably know that she probably would have liked to have been a little bit deeper on that first barrel, and there was some nice work done with these turns here. That performance section 2, I mean, she really went up into the lip and connected really well. But just probably wishing she could have been a little bit deeper here, and then was like, okay, let's just go Hail Mary. Chucks the fins with that little grab. And then flip side of the coin, Caity's like, hallelujah.
Free hit here for Simmers. It will be the backhand from her. She did great work inside the tube for 6-4 on a previous wave, and this one inconsequential really in terms of the standings in the heat. She's won the heat. She'll win a bit of tube time here with nice technique to stall and break, get inside and stick with it. Really good.
Nice.
And just extended time, real deep for Caity. And then a really cool jam. Look at the connectivity off the bottom as well. Won't get a second tube section. She won't be too bothered about that.
Yeah.
It was hard to get that second turn we're talking about. Because your tube kicks so hard. Yeah, so moving forward.
I want to get T pretty quick. AJ needs it pretty quick. AJ is good enough. Take it up with AJ.